We're good. Hey, we're up! Ha ha! Okay. Hi, everybody. Wow, that was a struggle. My internet decided to crap out right when I pushed go live. So I apologize for the 10-minute delay. Let me know if everybody can hear me and everything. I'm doing this a little differently. I've got a microphone that I've got plugged into my computer, and then I have a camera that I also have plugged into my computer. So we're doing it different, which should be a good time. Doug, can you hear me? Are we good on sound and visuals and everything? We happy? Everybody having a good day? We're live, Taylor. Awesome. Okay. Hi. Happy Ides of March. Happy halfway through the Words of Radiance Kickstarter, not Kickstarter, the unkickstarter for Words of Radiance. And I want to talk about Cosmere stuff. And while I'm at it, fill metal vials. Because most exciting thing, I just got all of the modern metals for Mistborn. They were hard to track down. But I have chromium. Don't focus on me. I remember we did this last time we did a live. The camera would not want to focus on stuff. Chromium. There it is. That's chromium. We also have nigrosyl, which was difficult to track down. Nigrosyl. Hi, Chris! Nigrosyl is only used in high temperature thermocouple applications, and so I had to find a very specific type of thermocouple wire, and now I have nigrosyl. Also, cadmium, which I got from Ukraine. Apparently, it's poisonous, so don't touch it, or at least don't swallow it. And then woods metal, which you can't see, but it's in a black bag. But Chris, we're in the same outfit. Man, that is awkward. But here's woods metal, which is a really low temperature melting metal. It melts at 130 degrees or something, 160. Really low temperature melting metal. But woods metal, also known as bendalloy. So we've got all of the modern metals. Plus, I fudged a little bit and got these for harmonium, because there is no in-book description of what harmonium looks like, which is incredibly frustrating to me, trying to find what this freaking god metal is supposed to look like. So I got some of the same looking stuff that Crafty Games used. Go here. I'm doing the makeup thing. Oh wow, that totally worked. The same type of metal that Crafty Games used, getting the rainbow anodized metal on the Mistborn metal dice. Their harmonium was sort of just rainbowy, so I figured I'll get some rainbowy goodness and use that for harmonium. Also, I will be making discs of Lerasium, which I think look real neat. Focus, camera. Here we go. Anyway, yeah, little ceramic disc with the bead of Lerasium inside. And I will have these available. I mean, they'll be available on my, I would say website, but I need to set up a website. I need to get the Sunrun shirt, man. I have a link in the description of this video, and like any of my other videos, there is a merch order form that you can click on and order stuff. I have just added all of the modern metals to that order form if you wanted to get any set of or individual metals for all of the Mistborn metals now. I will also have these at Dragonsteel this year. I've got a booth, and it's expensive, but I've got a booth. And in order to recoup some of the cost of that booth, I will be selling sets of these Mistborn metal vials. And yeah, with all of the modern metals. So if you wanted to be Wayne, you could don't eat this, but you can have his metal. So yeah, that's what I'm doing today, and I want to talk to you guys because y'all are fun and the Cosmere is cool, and so I want to chat while we're doing this. I'll sort of narrate what I'm doing as I'm going through all of the things, and so y'all are informed as to what I'm doing and all of the steps and how I got all of these things and everything. These vials you can just get on Amazon. These are 10 milliliter vials that I think like a box of 100 of these is like $18 or something, and get a bunch of metal vials. If I use all 100 of these, I can fill, I think, 5 and a bit full sets of metal vials. I have some full sets already, but not with the modern metals. I have full sets of the Era 1 metals. So I'm going to be making like 4 of these total, plus some others to just fill in gaps as we go. Mr. Luke, you ask, I mentioned previously I was narrating audiobooks. Am I currently narrating any books? I am. In fact, just, not yesterday, but 2 days ago, recently this week, I recorded an entire audiobook in one day. It's not an official thing, but I wanted to record a version of Long Chills and Case Dough, the Sanderson secret, not really secret project, the latest Sanderson curiosity before we get Dragonsteel Prime, because it's short and there's no audiobook version. And I was like, I want to do an audiobook version of that. That would be really fun to record. The story's fun. It's all first person, so I can like really have fun with it. And I want to record that. So as you can see in the background, there is my recording booth that I constructed with my own 2 hands. And I spent the day on, what was it, Tuesday? Because today's Friday. It wasn't yesterday. Probably Wednesday. Spent the day on Wednesday in my booth, and I recorded the entire thing, all in basically one shot, which was really fun. My patrons have access to the first chapter of that already. If you want to listen to chapter 1 of Long Chills and Case Dough, the audiobook as unofficially recorded by me, that is available on my Patreon page. So you can go to patreon.com/thecosmerenaut and give that a listen if you'd like. I posted that. I recorded the first chapter a while ago and then recorded the rest of it on Wednesday. And so my patrons have been able to listen to that since like last week. They say it's good. They say it's fun. I think it's fun. But that is, the chapter 1 is available to all of my patrons. I have a plan to, once I get everything like edited and mastered and made like audiobook quality, I want to just give it to Dragonsteel and be like, here, I made this. Have it. Also hire me. But have this because I made it and it's your intellectual property, and so I can't profit on it anyway. So here, have this. So that's the plan, is eventually give it to Dragonsteel and see what they do with it. If they let me, I'll probably release it on my YouTube channel as well, just to be like, hey, here's this. It's, the story itself is free on Sanderson's website, so I don't think I should have any problems being able to release it, but I got to go through appropriate channels for that first to make sure that they are okay with me releasing an audiobook of theirs, even though it's free. We'll see. Hopefully it'll be good. Taylor, the full version will be available. I should be able to get that completely edited and mastered and stuff definitely within the next few weeks. I'm also recording another audiobook that I need to really get working on. My goal for that one is to have it completely recorded by the end of this month. And so while I have Long Chills and Case Dough recorded, I it may take me a little bit to get it all edited and mastered because I need to work on the other audiobook that I'm recording, which is called The Oracle Sphere. It's not a very well-known audiobook. It's actually written by my cousin. We found out that he was a fiction writer and went, wait, can I do your audiobook for you? And he's like, oh yeah, totally. And so we worked out a deal and I'm recording his audiobook. If you look on Amazon for The Oracle Sphere, it's there. The cover is really nice. It's a good cover in my opinion. I'm working on recording that. I'm about halfway through that right now. And I should be able to finish it up entirely by the end of this month. So yes, I have finished recording one audiobook that I need to complete, that I need to finish, and I'm working on a second audiobook that should be completely recorded by the end of the month. Warrior Dude, am I going to fill these with whiskey? Tempting. The first few, I don't think it would work really well for what I want them to be. The first few iterations of these metal vials that I did, I used rubbing alcohol, and the seal of the cork wasn't quite completely airtight, and so all of the alcohol in the rubbing alcohol ended up evaporating out, which made it weird. So this was one of my first versions of let's see, this is bronze, and you can see like it got weirdly cloudy, and a good chunk of the liquid in it evaporated out. So I don't think alcohol would be a good long-term liquid to be in these vials, which is why I don't do rubbing alcohol anymore. What I have started to do, which I think is like the ideal situation for this, for the heavier metals, for like big chunks of pewter or zinc or my beads of atium. You can't really see those. Here we go. Beads of atium. Those I actually put in glycerin, so it's a lot thicker, and so you don't get them like banging around on the inside of the vial. So thicker glycerin, and then for the lighter metals, I use either mineral oil, which is a little more viscous than water, but less viscous than the glycerin, or baby oil, which is a little less viscous than the mineral oil. So that goes well in like gold or electrum, the really light foils that I put in. So no, unfortunately not whiskey. I wouldn't want you to drink these anyway, because if you did, if it didn't tear up your esophagus and like give you serious internal bleeding problems, it would at least potentially poison you and or give you the runs. So I don't want these to be drunk by anybody. So no, I'm not putting whiskey in them. No spoilers, I presume. Yeah, we'll work on a no spoiler policy for now. If there is anything spoilery that I want to talk about or that you guys want to talk about, we can be like a spoiler and we'll do a spoiler warning and put it in the chat or something to make sure if people want to escape, they can escape. But we'll function on a no spoiler mindset for the moment. Thoughts on the Shadesmar Sun? Oh, Mitchie, that's a good question. I think the Shadesmar Sun probably it exists because people think there needs to be a sun, and so there is a sun. But as for what the Shadesmere Sun is, I've seen some theories that it's like, oh, it's the god beyond, or it's it's Adonalsium spirit or vessel or something. I don't know. I think that would be that's a question that would almost assuredly get rathoed by Brandon, and therefore we can only speculate. I think it just exists because people think there needs to be some sort of heavenly body, and therefore a sun came into being in the cognitive realm because it cognitively was required to be there. if that makes sense. Uh, yeah, Tom, ads might happen. I should, let's see. Uh, uh, yeah, sorry. Oh, cod liver oil. Cod liver oil is very dark, and so I didn't want to do cod liver oil, or else that would not, it wouldn't look pretty. But oil, yeah, is the oil won't evaporate through the cork, which is really what I need, because having it get weirdly cloudy with the alcohol and then part of it evaporate through is weird. I also originally was sealing these with just like silicone that didn't really do very well. I have now started sealing them with two-part epoxy, because that sets up nice and hard and is fairly impermeable, and that makes them last a lot longer on the shelf. They look real nice. Do I think that Mistborn are immune to any metal poisoning? Mr. Luke, I do not think Mistborn are immune to any metal poisoning. In fact, Mistborn could definitely be poisoned by their own metals. I think there was a wob from years ago. Someone asked about metals being poisonous because, yeah, for sure, like cadmium is a poisonous metal. If you eat this, you will get sick. So there is a standard practice amongst Mistborn, and therefore I assume also Mistings, of the appropriate metals to either burn away all of the metals at the end of the day, or to probably like puke them up if they're big enough chunks. But no, Mistborn are definitely not immune to metal poisoning. Is it a spoiler to ask what I think Secret Project 5 is? Oh, no. No, it is not. Because given that we know it is far future Cosmere and very connected, and it was inspired by Brandon going to the beach, I think it's going to have something to do with the, we'll say, the end of Sunlit Man. And Brandon has said that he has seen people theorizing correctly, and I have seen that theory out pretty regularly, and that makes sense to me. Just the beach. He went to the beach and got inspired. Nah. Hey, bitmap. Let's see. Doesn't have to look pretty. It's just healthier. That's very true. Steris would be ashamed at me for using mineral oil, though. Mineral oil is it's a laxative, so that people drink this for getting rid of some potentially metal-induced constipation, I suppose. Mineral oil won't hurt you. It'll just, again, give you the runs. I don't think... Oh, there has been a mention of a sun in the spiritual realm. In the spiritual realm. Oh. We know virtually nothing about the spiritual realm. So, no. There has been no mention of a sun in the spiritual realm. Yeah, Race, Odium, Secret Project, probably a sequel / prequel to Sunlit Man and Yumi. That's what I think. It's connected there somehow. Because Brandon, and it has to be connected to dragons, because Brandon recently has been dropping a lot more information about dragons, and when that has happened before, it has been because he has been working on a story that deals with those things. Like once he started working on Tress and Lost Metal, all of a sudden we were getting a lot more wobs about Aethers, which feature heavily in both of those stories. And so I think because he's starting to be like, oh, here's information about dragons, virtually unprompted, I think this next Secret Project will likely have dragons featured more heavily in it. Secret Project 5 could be connected to 6 of the Dusk. That's true. I'm not sure. He's already working on something else that is 6 of the Dusk adjacent. And if Secret Project 5 were that, I think he would have just said, hey, it's Kingmaker. So I'm not. It might be, but that one would surprise me a little bit if it were Six of the Dusk adjacent. He did specifically say he would likely not be doing another Nomad story. He wouldn't be featuring a point of view Nomad story where like Nomad is the main character. But he did say Nomad would still be showing up and doing important things in the Cosmere. So it might not be a here's Nomad explaining his experience, but instead here's someone else living on a planet and Nomad might show up. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Yeah, we'll very likely get dragons in Secret Project 5. Did Dragon ever tell us anything about Fort from Tress of the Emerald Sea? I mean, Fort is... I love Fort. The first official deaf character that we get, which is significant to me because I am an interpreter for my day job. Like, I work with the deaf community. And so finally getting a capital D deaf character was really cool. I love Fort. I think, I mean, he's... I think it was said somewhere in a wob that he was, if not a world hopper, at least like descended from world hoppers or something. But I don't think we're going to get more information about Fort. I don't think Brandon's going to go back to the cast of Tress. That feels like it was a story that finished up very nicely. So I would be surprised if we went back to Lumar in any fashion. Who's the audience Hoyd is talking to in Tress and Yumi? I personally think in Tress, he's talking to people on First of the Sun. And in Yumi, his audience is Rosharan, because he mentions various Rosharan things. Those don't really have significance or bearing on the story itself, but I think there are two separate audiences. And for that reason, it's two very different storytelling experiences. Like those feel very different in terms of how Hoyd is approaching them, because he's approaching them with a different audience. Yeah, Dragonsteel Prime is Brandon's master's thesis. So it's not that Brandon has finished Dragonsteel Prime, it's that Brandon has now just released Dragonsteel Prime that he has had written for 20 years. You could go to the BYU library and check it out. And by check it out, I mean go into a room with another person watching you read and read it. That like you can't be unsupervised with the book. But now, with the official Sanderson Curiosity release of Dragonsteel Prime, you won't have to go sneak into the BYU library special collections and read it. Yay for all of us! Yeah, Dragonsteel Prime is old. That was his master's thesis. And it was fairly complete in terms of like copy editing and stuff. Again, I've read it, so I can tell you there are a not insignificant amount of typos, but it wouldn't have been much work to get it into a presentable format. I mean, I'm sure there was more of a robust copy edit done, but I don't think there would have been any like rewriting that he would have needed to do at all. So I don't think it would have taken much work to get Dragonsteel Prime into its eventual Sanderson Curiosity state. Oh, Taylor, you bring up the very reason why I am terrified for Stormlight 5. I think something big is going to happen in Stormlight 5, and cataclysmic, obviously not world-ending, because we know there has to be Stormlight 6 through 10, but something huge is going to go down in Stormlight 5, and I am scared for it. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, here's what I'm doing. Let's give a little update. Hi, everybody. If you've just hopped on, my name is Steve. I make videos about Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere, and I'm currently working on filling vials of metal, of the actual samples of the metals mentioned in the Mistborn series. I just filled some vials with iron. I then will be doing some vials of steel. So I got this iron on Amazon. You can get just iron filings. It is iron. This steel I got from a local foundry, actually. Let's see if it'll focus. 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 Steel. It's very sharp. This is the main reason why I say do not drink these metals, because this steel would tear your esophagus to shreds if you ingested it. It's so when I first got this, it's machined steel, so I had to it's coated in oil, so I had to sort of wash it as best I could to get the machine lubricant off of it, and putting it out on like a tray and trying to just get rubbing alcohol and stuff and to clean it as best I could, my fingertips were full of little shards of steel for days afterward. This would destroy you if you drink it. Do not drink metals, my friends. Don't do it. It would be a bad time. That still sort of smells like a foundry. April Pixie, you want to say hi and super excited to meet? Oh, nice! You're coming to Dragonsteel in December. Awesome. Ooh, con tips. Yes, let's talk about Dragonsteel Con. Last year was the third Dragonsteel convention and the third one that I have attended. I went to the very first one because I am local to Dragonsteel, which is really convenient. And then I volunteered at the second one, and then I was a panelist and exhibitor at the third one. So, yes, convention tips. If you're going to cosplay at a convention, make sure your cosplay has comfortable shoes. I experienced this at Dragonsteel 2 years ago. I was volunteering, and when I wasn't volunteering, I was cosplaying as Wax / Elementor Jack. I'm very proud of my mist coat that I have made, that my mommy made with me. And the boots that I was wearing, because I was just like putting a t-shirt on over cosplay minus jacket, and then when I was done volunteering, I'd take the t-shirt off, put the jacket on, and boom, I was in cosplay. I just wore the boots of the cosplay while I was volunteering, and so I was in those boots the entire day, and I thought they fit me well. And after wearing them for about 2 hours, which is not a long time, my feet started to really, really, really hurt. And by the end of the day, I couldn't feel my pinky toe in my right foot, and didn't get feeling back into that toe for literally like 3 months afterward. So if you're going to cosplay at a convention, you're going to be doing a lot of walking around. You're going to be doing a lot of standing. Make sure that your cosplay has comfortable shoes. If you're not going to cosplay, make sure you have comfortable shoes, because you're going to need them. That's my biggest convention tip. Also, for my sake, since I will be exhibiting there, and there's also going to be a ton of other exhibitors who all have really, really cool things, bring more money than you think you should. That's terrible advice. Set yourself a budget, and don't be afraid to hit that budget. Like, don't go over your budget. Don't go over your budget for your own financial wellness. But set yourself a budget. Allow yourself to get cool things if you have the money to get those cool things, because there's going to be really cool things at this convention. And yeah, be be willing to get the things that you really like, because it may be conventions are some of the only ways you can get some things, and they're definitely the easiest ways you can get some things. So set yourself a budget and stick to the budget, but be willing to use your budget. And shoes, again, good shoes. Yes, it is against the YouTube terms of service to eat metals. I'm not going to eat these. No one should eat metal. Don't eat metal. You will be in pain and have a bad time and probably go to the emergency room. Yeah. Oh, Ray Sodium. Ow. Yep. See, steel in my fingertip. Gosh. Whoever gets this metal vial is going to get a little chunk of DNA from me. Go, 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 go. Get into the thing. Okay, there we are. Sorry, I'm doing this and also talking to you guys and also trying to read the chat. Ray, sorry, stories from Lumar. Prasanva really made you itch for those. Prasanva is his aethers are different than Lumarian aethers. That's one of the weird things about Lumar, and sort of the strange choice of it being the first real aether dependent story that we get, because Lumarian aethers function very differently from aethers in the rest of the Cosmere. Yeah, so I do agree. I want to see bonded aethers like we see in Lost Metal, but those are not Lumarian aethers. Those will function very differently. These should be the same composition of the elementic metals. This is not stainless steel. This is steel, which has. I mean, there's fluctuation in the percentages of stuff in steel, but it's fairly standard. And with how much perception and intent functions in Cosmere magics, I think having a slightly off composition will still allow you to use the magic. It just might not be as strong as it necessarily otherwise would be. If you've got this wrong percentage of carbon or iron or something in here, then you'll still be able to do stuff. Maybe not as forcefully, though. But that's one of the things I'm so proud of in getting the modern metals, because these, like, I mean, first off, yeah, chromium it's a pure metal. That this is an element, but nigrosil is nigrosil, and bendalloy is woods metal. Like brass, bronze can be different percentages. Pewter is wildly variable, but I got what I think is as close as I could get to the right allomantic composition of the various metals. I worked hard on getting all of these. Ray Sodium, you're asking a lot of good questions. How does a Knight Radiant switch orders like Nomad did? Trauma. That trauma is how, and that's all I'll go into without spoiling anything. Trauma is how you switch orders, or you have a really two really forgiving spren that allow you to bond into multiple orders, which should be possible. Brandon said you could have 2 radiant bonds, but like as long as the oaths don't conflict. But that would be the tricky thing, is making sure the oaths don't conflict. So that is 4 steel. I'm going to be filling 6 steel to make full sets. Good afternoon, Brian. Am I going to bring the handlebar back this year? I don't know. Should I? I could. 2 years ago, at Dragonsteel 2022, I shaved my beard into full handlebar mustache, and when I first shaved, I was I didn't like it. It looked very it looked very cartoony. Frankly, it was a lot. It was a big choice, but over the course of that weekend, I started to really enjoy how that handlebar looked. Uh, I don't know. We'll see. I won't be only cosplaying as Wax slash Allomancer Jack. I love that cosplay, so I'll do it at least one of the days. But I have a plan for another Stormlight cosplay that I'm really excited to do because it's gonna be. I'm gonna find it very funny. Um, I'm not sure if you don't know Stormlight, specifically like the intricacies of Stormlight, I don't think you'll get it. It'll just look weird, but I think it's going to be hilarious. So stop by my booth or find me walking around at Dragonsteel this year, and I may have a really silly cosplay on. I'm excited for it. Am I selling these at Dragonsteel? Yes, I absolutely am. I will be selling full sets of vials at Dragonsteel. I will be selling individual vials at Dragonsteel. Yes, and the cool thing about these vials is they all are actual samples of the Mistborn metals. This ain't just sparkly glitter. These are metals. Like this is steel, which is real sharp, but also very cool. Next will be tin, which I ended up getting off of eBay. eBay is surprisingly varied in what it offers. You can get shot of a bunch of different metals. That sounds weird. You can get shot full of a bunch of different metals on eBay. Very true. But also you can get shot of a bunch of different metals on eBay, like tin. I learned something interesting recently regarding tin. Did you know? I should probably talk about the chat, but I'm going to sort of info dump here about tin. Did you know that basically all modern glass that is produced, specifically like flat glass, like paned windows or like windshields or any sort of flat glassware, is produced in a process called float glass. It's called float glass because they literally pour molten glass on top of a reservoir of molten tin, and that makes it able to like spread out and be all uniform thickness and like be able to actually be made into easy to produce glass that is consistently in consistent size and like really strong. It's made on a bed of molten tin. How cool is that? But oh, right, Kirby. Yes, yes, I have these. I am selling these at Dragonsteel. They are also available in the description in any of my videos. They're at the very bottom of the like chunk of links. There is a Raffo merch order form link, and you can order a full set or any individual metal vial that you want. Or I also have stickers and pins and T-shirts, and I think I still have a couple vials of white sand that is a caramel vanilla flavored sugar that functions like a giant pixie stick. I got a bunch of cool stuff, and it's all available at that link in the description. If you want to get some Raffo merch or some most excellent Mistborn metal vials, those are all available, and I will ship them out to you. So if you want to get them now, you can, or if you want to wait until Dragonsteel, I will also have everything at Dragonsteel. Yes, I should use a glove. You're right. I usually Julie, you're absolutely correct. I thought I had everything that I needed at my office. Welcome to my office. This is my new recording space. I thought I had everything that I needed to do to fill all of these metal vials. And while I was setting up, I was like, oh, wait, I don't have tweezers that I usually use to get the gold leaf. I grab that with a big thing of tweezers and jam it in the vials. I don't have those tweezers, so I'm not going to be able to do my gold leaf. And I don't have aluminum. I fully forgot to bring any aluminum. The easiest way to get pure aluminum is just get cheap aluminum foil. That is pure aluminum. And I totally forgot to bring aluminum foil to fill these metal vials. So I'm not going to be able to fill any aluminum. And I realized I only have 3 of my polished beads of atium, and so I need to polish more atium, so I will only be able to do a limited amount of atium today. But I should be able to get all of those finished in a fairly quick manner after I get everything else done. The filling is the most time-consuming part, and then sticking all of the corks in and everything. But yes, I should be wearing gloves. I should also have tweezers, and I will definitely wash my hands after this to get all of the steel shards out of my fingertips, because just looking at them, I can see there's some shiny bits in my fingers. I'm sure that's fine. I've done this often enough. It's okay. Non sequitur. Are you ready? In this finger, not sure if you can see, right there, that dark piece of stuff near my fingernail, right there. That is a pencil lead that I have had in my finger since before kindergarten. Kids are idiots and they do things. I had a pencil and was doing the between the spaces in your fingers, and I was like 4, maybe 5 at the time, and I was going bum 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 bum, and I jammed it into my finger on accident, and it broke. And I have a pencil lead in my pinky that remains there to this day. It's a good thing pencils are not made with actual lead anymore, and it's just graphite, which is basically harmless. It just hangs out in my pinky. But yeah, I have a chunk of pencil lead in my pinky. So some metals can get in you, and they won't do anything. Other metals, like cadmium, I probably won't do cadmium today, honestly. Oh, I might, because I have the spoon, and that has simple. I'll do cadmium with the spoon, but yeah, I realized I didn't have all of my materials here while I was setting up, like 10 minutes before this started, and so there are some metals that will be missing in the presentation today. How do I produce mraze? Or pronounce mraze, like mraze. Mr. Rise is fun. Mraze. It's like raise, the word raise, as in to lift or to completely level, which is ironic. But with a m in front of it, because he is Thalen. He is culturally Thalen. So mraze, yeah. Jumble of consonants. I was tempted to do a Mistborn, like all of the metals in one. Should I do that? What do you guys think? Should I make a vial with all of the metals in it? And do this is the Mistborn mix? That could be cool. What do you guys think? Should I do that? Because I have individual metals in everything, but making all of the metals in one, I think could be cool. That would be more expensive, because it would be a whole bunch of different metals. But should I do that? Should I make a Mistborn vial with all of the different metals in it? Let me know in the chat. I'm genuinely curious. That could be a cool thing. What do you guys think? Thank you for loving my content, Brian. I like making it. That's mostly why I do it. I first started making videos because I wanted to understand concepts in the Cosmere better. And so I knew if I had to explain them on a video, I would need to understand them. And so that would motivate me to do the legwork that I needed to be able to understand all of these concepts. And so that's why I started making videos. That's honestly a good reason why I continue to make videos, is because I want to understand things and notice the connections and have an excuse to buy all of the fancy stuff that Dragonsteel's putting out nowadays. So I make content. Thank you for enjoying it. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Did I get platinum beads for ATM? No. The easiest thing that I was able to do for ATM, I got just steel ball bearings, but just having a steel ball bearing in one of these vials looked really boring, and so it's not canonical. Like in the books, ATM is described as being a pure like silvery drop of metal, but I wanted a little more texture, so I made a like homemade etching solution. There you go. You can see it a little bit there. Uh, uh, eh, eh. And dropped the ball bearings in this homemade etching solution to just give a little more texture to the surface of the bead, and I think they look really cool. For Lerasium, I'm putting the ball bearing in a disc of ceramic. Where are you? There you are. And so that is going to look similar. This is going to look more like what ATM technically looks like. Now ATM technically looks like. But the single vial, the single metal bead in a glass vial just looked really dumb, and I wanted it to look cooler, so I etched them. Don't touch my eyes, Kirby. Since I've started wearing glasses, I touch my eyes a lot less because it's annoying to get around them. Yeah, I don't think I'm in danger of touching my eyes. I'm in danger of, which I've already done. I've noticed myself do this, like after people have mentioned, "Hey, don't touch your face." I like touch my nose and stuff. So I'll be fine. If I die, I love you all. It's been fun. Let's hang out in the spiritual realm. Do these count as metal mines? Cryptodium. The splinter. Yes, since I have splinters of steel in my fingertips, I am now going to start storing minuscule amounts of speed, and that may be useful at some point, because there they are. Raffle. Oh yeah, maybe like raffle a Mistborn vial. Oh, Julie, yay, pencil lead friends. Mr. Luke. The lost metal made you confused about hemalurgy. Is it possible to receive other types of magic from the Cosmere with hemalurgy? Yes. Cryptodium is correct. That is why hemalurgy is insane. Hemalurgy has Cosmere-wide implications, and it. Oh dear. Yes. If you know where to spike from in the donor and where to spike into in the receiver, you can rip off anything that is part of someone's spirit web. And yeah, so that's insane. Brandon has confirmed it would be possible to steal a radiant bond with hemalurgy, which then the Spren can immediately be like, nah, I don't want you, and break the bond themselves. But it would be possible to steal other magic systems using hemalurgy. That's why hemalurgy is so scary and has huge implications, because yeah, it can do anything. Yeah. Rounded like an everlasting gobstopper. In my mind, I picture it more globular as well. You're talking like movie everlasting gobstopper, right? With the like other balls on top of it. That's how I picture atium more. It is not a perfectly smooth sphere, but sort of bumpy around it. I didn't have a really good way to do that, but I think the etched beads of metal look really cool. Etched ball bearings. Oh, Brian. Yeah, thanks for skiving off work to come hang out. You're under no obligation to be here, but thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Book description, his appearance is always. Oh yeah, missed the book description. Always pictured it dark and porous. No, it's described as a pure silver bead, almost like a drop of water that froze into a metallic bead, like pure smooth silver. I think mine look cooler because having a just it would look like a ball bearing in a glass jar, and I don't want it to look like a ball bearing in a glass jar. I want it to look like a magical metal thing in a glass jar. So I did etching on it, and I think it looks fun. Yeah, you'd spike the radiant to steal a bond, and then if you could, like, spike the spren and force them to keep it, that could work, but that would be really difficult to do. Yeah, it'd be weird. You think we've seen it with Gavilar? Ooh, I like this theory. You think Gavilar is a recipient of hemalurgy, huh? Interesting. I my gut instinct is to disagree, but entirely possible. There are Scadrians on Roshar. That totally could happen. All right, here is Pewter. I think Pewter looks cool. I'll fill a vial and then pull it up to show you. I like it's very chunky. I think it's fun. That's Pewter. Would the pits of Hathsin eventually start to regrow? Yes. That is one of the significant things about the timing of Era 2 in Mistborn, because technically, roughly 300-ish years later, that would be enough time for the crystals in the pits of Hathsin to regrow and start producing atium again. We see... Oh. That would be kind of a spoilery thing. Never mind. I won't talk about that specifically, but yeah, there could potentially be atium naturally produced again, fairly soon around Mistborn Era 2. They cast Gavilar under a statue. I don't think that would interfere with the soul casting if he had a spike. Go. There we go. Pewter. I think that would just get soul cast into the statue. The spike probably wouldn't get soul cast, but I don't think it would interfere with Gavilar's body getting soul cast. Pits of Hathsin type thing for Et Metal. Maybe. We don't know how they get Et Metal. That seems to be a Southern Scadrian exclusive thing. So it could be that there is a Pits of Hathsin analog for Et Metal in the southern continent, but we haven't gotten any confirmation on that. Totally possible, though. Go. There we are. Pewter. All right, 4 of them. Let's see. Ask my opinion of theories. Oh, ask your opinion. Blah, blah, blah. Ask my opinion on 2 of your theories on Secret Project 5. Is that okay, everybody? Anyone? Is anyone concerned for spoilers here at the moment? We've got 21 people here. Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. 21 folk. That's true. Surgeons, yeah, they would have been like, hey, stop. He has a chunk of metal in him. That's weird. Oh, Stormlight 5. Oh! Has anyone else... Is anyone here, of the 21 people here, is there anyone who has not finished Rhythm of War? Speak now. Because if there's anyone who has not finished Rhythm of War, we should not talk about potential things for Stormlight 5. Sabbath's all caught up. Julie's finished. Anybody who is not caught up in the Cosmere? All right. Crypto, it looks like we are good. Go ahead and shoot me. Oh, hey, it's my brother. Hey, look, it's my brother. Hi, my brother. You'll read him eventually. This is my brother who I said I introduced to the Cosmere through Emperor's Soul. Hi, bro. Yeah, you don't really care about spoilers, so it's fine. Yeah, let's go ahead, Crypto. What are your theories? Let's talk about them. Zinc. Well, I assume you're typing those up. Here is zinc. This I got. I think I might have gotten this off eBay. That's what zinc looks like. I ran out of my first container of zinc and forgot that I had this second container of zinc. And so I ended up to fill some metal vials for another convention I did in January. I ended up just melting pennies and like blowtorch and bloop and dripping the zinc core out of the middle of the penny because zinc melts at a lower temperature than copper does, and harvested some zinc from pennies that way. And then like 2 or 3 weeks later was going through the closet where I just stashed a bunch of stuff and went, oh, I still have a full thing of zinc that I bought 4 years ago. That's fine. So I'm not actually out of zinc, which is good. Okay, Crypto. Number 1, Lift is the Herald Videl and wanted to forget Aharietium. Interesting. And Rock will be the third bondsmith. I don't think Rock... I don't think we're going to see Rock again. No, that's not true. I think we will see Rock again, but I don't think we're going to see Rock again in Stormlight. So I don't think Rock will be the third bondsmith. I honestly am most leaning toward Lift being the third bondsmith and bonding the Night Watcher. I think that would be really, really interesting for her character. Yeah. I would love to see Lift be a bondsmith because that would be super fun. I also wouldn't be surprised if the third bondsmith ended up being on the other side, being on Odium's team, because that would... I don't know. There's something poetic about that. Because of what Cultivation did, I think that would be a possibility of having the third bondsmith be against the Radiants rather than for them. Oh, bitmap. I don't think I even saw your question. Are we required to bring cash at the con? No, you're not required to bring cash to the con. Most vendors probably will have a way to take cards. Like I'll have a card reader. Cash, I have found when I'm going to somewhere and I have a specific budget that I want to adhere to, having cash makes following that budget easier because it's a tangible thing that I'm like, okay, I have this much dollars left, rather than just having money pop out of anywhere I want it to if I can swipey. So no, I don't think you're required to bring cash. But if you do bring cash and you come to my booth and you purchase something from my booth in cash, I will have fun change. I did this last year and I really enjoyed it, so I'm doing it again this year. I will be giving change at my booth in $2 bills and dollar coins and 50-cent pieces. So if you come to my booth and you buy something in cash and I need to give you change, I will give you fun, cool change. So there's one potential reason to bring cash. Yeah, Julie, Lift is an edge dancer. I would love to see Lift be one of the first double order Radiants that we have, and I think she could pull it off. Because just considering their oaths, we've got remembering those who have been forgotten, and on the edge dancer side, and uniting, right? You can't unite without remembering, and remembering can lead you to unite. I think those two sets of oaths would be compatible, and I would love to see Lift bond the Night Watcher and be an edge dancer and bondsmith. I think that would be really cool. Lift's gonna go back and get a refund. Chris, theory about Dalinar picking up honor, cultivation, and odium. Interesting. Becoming conquest. Ooh, that could be cool. I've seen theories of Dalinar ascending to honor. I haven't seen theories of him getting all three. That would be that I would love that and hate that at the same time. That would be scary. Does the void binding chart have a bondsmith glyph? I haven't looked at the void binding chart in a while. If I had an opportunity to bond a Spren, taking the official Night Radiant quiz, I was very much a will shaper, and looking at the oaths of the will shapers, I feel like that is accurate, especially with the Say the Words orders videos that were released. Will shaper, I felt like I really connected with. Initially, before taking the quiz, I thought I identified more with Truth Watchers, but I think I was just identifying with Renarin and really enjoying Renarin's character. The more I've gotten into the Will Shapers and everything, the more I feel like, yeah, I would be a Will Shaper. I would love to bond a Reacher and be a Will Shaper. I think it'd be cool. Bonding Unmade in order to make a bondsmith. That would be interesting. My question is, so we know there are large sapient spren that can be bonded to grant power. They're like Stormwatcher, Night Watcher, Stormfather, Sibling. Those are one of a kind spren, unique spren that seem to have their own awareness, their own sapience and sentience and all the things that you can bond to be Night Watchers. My question is, what about Kusakash? Do y'all remember Kusakash? He's the spren that they see in one of the interludes in Words of Radiance. In the Axes sees it. Axes the Collector. He's in that port town, and in the harbor every day at the exact same time, that one big spren woof, and comes out and rests like 4 arms on the pillars that are there, and all of the people watching feel slightly drained afterward. Like, what's that spren got going on? Is that a possibility to have another bondsmith? Who is Kusakash? What is going on with Kusakash? I want to know what happens there. What if Lift is all 3, Videl, Edge Dancer, and Bondsmith? I don't think... I would be surprised if Lift was secretly a herald. And here's the main reason why. Lift is actively growing up, and the heralds don't age. We've seen the heralds be the exact same age for thousands of years. And so with Lift actively growing, like hitting puberty in Rhythm of War, I don't think that would be possible for someone who would be as invested and therefore as static as one of the heralds. It's an interesting theory. I don't dislike it. I don't fully agree with it, though. Is Kusakash sapient? That's valid question. Definitely sentient. Maybe not sapient, or the other way around. I'm never sure which one's which. I don't know. But the fact that it is a one of Spren, for all that we know, there is no other Kusakash type. There's just Kusakash. There has to be something going on there. And I want to know what it is. And I want to know the significance of there being a one of Spren in this random port city in northern Roshar. Speculation for the end game of the Cosmere? Oh, man. I think, ultimately, I think the end game is Aiden Alcium coming back in some way. As to how that happens or if that actually will happen, I don't know. But I think that's what at least some forces in the Cosmere are pushing for. But there are also other forces in the Cosmere who are actively trying to prevent that. So, anyway, metals. Here we are on brass. Brass is pretty. I like the brass. Let's see. We are doing 5 vials of brass. Yes, the scene of Renarin comforting Dalinar. Oh, 100%. That hits you. Yeah. Yeah. Blanthos, you feel like Bam is a more likely candidate for a Bondsmith Spren. Who's Bam? Bada Mishram. Oh, man. Yeah, if we're talking about the potential of bonding unmade, Bada Mishram, there's definitely something weird happening there. And that's actually one of my predictions for Stormlight 5 is that Bada Mishram is going to come back and it's going to wreak havoc. I don't think the Night Watcher could undo the static age and de-age her. The Night Watcher wasn't the one that granted her boon. That was Cultivation. And Cultivation could probably do something like that, but it would be very difficult. Just because the Heralds are so invested anyway, it would take a lot of power to fight against that investment. I'm doing bronze? Yeah. No. Wait. Oh, this is brass. Brass. I'm doing 5 brass. One more. Yeah, brass is a pretty metal. It's fun. Of all of the metals I have, brass is probably my second favorite. I really think this brass is really pretty. Again, I got this brass from a local foundry. I called up a bunch of foundries in my area and was like, hey, do you have these metals? And can I come and have some? And there was a foundry in my town. It was like, oh, yeah, sure. And that's where I got brass and steel and my Duralumin, which, again, also was very difficult to narrow down. There are some of these metals I am confident that they would be allomantically viable if they were consumed by a Mistborn. I'm not 100% certain on those, though. Like, duralumin, there are lots of different compositions of duralumin. Duralumin is the name for a stronger alloy of aluminum. And I think Brandon has said specific like ratios of alloys and stuff. But yeah, this might not actually be allomantically viable duralumin, but I think it's probably allomantically viable duralumin. As best as I could get, at least. Tony, hey! Long time no see, indeed! Which characters we've seen in this era do I think will be POV characters in the next era of Stormlight? Lift, 100%, first of all. I think Lift is going to be even more significant in the second arc of Stormlight than she was in this arc. I think Gavinor, if Gavinor doesn't die in Stormlight 5, I think Gavinor is going to be a main point of view character in the second arc. Also, Aiden, who is the little wannabe Windrunner kid in Urithiru in Rhythm of War. I think he is going to become a Windrunner and be a huge part of Stormlight 5. Stormlight second arc. Oh yeah, I think... Let's talk about this, Lee. Oh, Lee! Hi, Lee! Lee, did you ever get the thing I sent? I shipped you a thing, and I don't know if it ever got to you. Did you get it? Okay, good. Good. Happy to hear. I've been concerned about that for months. Sorry, back to your question. Crossover characters from other Cosmere series becoming Stormlight POV characters. I wouldn't be surprised if there were some like interlude POVs from other Cosmere worlds. Because there has to be a reason why Mistborn Era 2 specifically happens between the first 5 books of Stormlight and the second 5 books of Stormlight. Sanderson is very specific in that it happens between here. And so I think there will be in the second arc of Stormlight, like I think Wax is going to show up in Stormlight 6 or somewhere in arc 2 of Stormlight. I think we are going to have some significant crossovers in the second arc, simply because that timing he has been very, very adamant about, and there has to be a reason behind that, right? It's not just technological development. There has to be a narrative reason behind why these take place in that specific order, that tightly. And yeah, I think we're going to get Mistborn crossovers with Stormlight in the second arc significantly. If Renarin isn't a POV in the back half of Stormlight, I'll cry. Yeah, I agree. I love Renarin's character. I don't think he's going away. He has to be significant. Knowing everything that we know about Renarin and the way Renarin affects the story, yeah, I don't think Renarin's going away anytime soon. If you've read... oh, battery exhausted. Oh, no. My battery shouldn't be exhausted. Oh, can everyone hear me still? Hold on a second. Let me see if I can switch cameras. Okay, y'all can still hear me? Oh, goodness. This is weird. How do I do this? Is there a way to change cameras? Oh, no. I don't... Whatever that feature is, I don't have access to it. Or that... Why don't I have access to features? It's YouTube. I have all the things. Pop out channel level settings. Oh, dear. Why didn't you charge, camera? You're plugged in. You should have power. Okay. Oh man. This is awkward. I am going to stop this live stream and start another one, and I'll be using just my laptop camera because, man, why did my camera die? That's so rude. How inconsiderate of you, camera. Okay, so I will be stopping this live stream, starting another live stream. Everybody can hop on that one. I apologize for this weird technical issue. Be right back.